Welcome to Dreamcast. Each time we dive into the subconscious mind, specifically Nicholas Benson's. Today we're looking at a really interesting one from his journal, dated April 3rd, 2025.
Yeah, this one, it sets up a fascinating world right away. Nicholas finds himself in a reality where, mages, ninjas, and even superhumans all exist kind of secretly, and they seem to know about each other, at least somewhat.
Exactly, and Nicholas's role in this, he's actually a superhuman himself, but he's attending a Mage Academy. So picture this. He's got super strength, incredible durability, he can fly, but he's keeping all that totally hidden from his classmates.
That hidden identity piece is often really telling in dreams. It can point towards how we navigate different social or professional spaces, maybe feeling like we have to hide parts of ourselves,
Right. So the dream progresses, and Nicholas, he takes flight. Makes sense, given his abilities. But then, there's a complication. He accidentally flies into, the wrong territory.
The wrong territory. That immediately flags ideas about boundaries, doesn't it? What defines these zones in the dream, and what could it mean that he crossed into one unintentionally?
Well, the welcome party wasn't exactly friendly. He gets confronted pretty quickly. First by ninjas, and then adding another layer, some superhuman criminals. So, definitely the wrong place at the wrong time.
It's interesting, that combination of opponents. Ninjas often symbolize, stealth, agility, maybe hidden threats, or a need for strategy. Whereas superhuman criminals suggest something more overt, a more powerful, direct kind of opposition.
And this is where it gets, pretty revealing. Nicholas finds that, he can actually handle the ninjas. His own superhuman abilities, strength, speed, they work against him. He can probably evade them.
Yeah.
But then something else happens.
So if he has these significant powers, what could possibly pose a greater challenge within this dream world? That's a key question.
We'll enter one of these superhuman criminals, who turns out to be even stronger than Nicholas. And despite being able to manage the ninjas, he just can't escape this more powerful figure. That feeling, being trapped despite having powers, must have been pretty potent.
Oh, absolutely. That inability to escape, especially when you theoretically have the means, like superpowers, that's often a core emotional element. It frequently points to feeling, overwhelmed or maybe stuck in a waking life situation, even if you have strengths you normally rely on.
Okay, let's try to unpack some of the symbolism here, this whole setup. Mages, ninjas, superhumans all coexisting.
Yeah.
What could that blend of different power types represent for Nicholas?
Well, thinking about Nicholas's life, he's an application developer, but also has these creative projects. These different power sets could mirror those diverse skills and approaches, right? Mages might connect to the learning, the intellectual side, maybe the creativity. Ninjas, with their stealth and tactics, that could relate to the problem solving in his tech work, the strategic thinking. And the superhumans, maybe that's about raw potential or drive in both his job and his personal stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. And the Mage Academy itself, the place where he's hiding his real abilities.
Given his work, like engaging with new tech, even experimental AI, the Academy could easily symbolize that constant drive to learn and develop skills. The secrecy part. Maybe that suggests feeling a need to adapt, or perhaps downplay certain strengths in particular settings. Maybe feeling a bit like an outsider sometimes.
Okay, yeah. Now that moment, he accidentally flies into the wrong territory.
Yeah.
Let's look at his log around that time. He had a call with Alex, went over to Alex's place. Could this territory have a social dimension?
It's definitely possible, yeah. Accidentally crossing a line in the dream, it could symbolize maybe inadvertently stepping over a social boundary, or maybe just feeling like he'd walked into a situation where the dynamics were unexpected or uncomfortable.
And the ninjas, specifically, these stealthy figures, what might they represent?
Ninjas often pop up in dreams representing unseen challenges, or maybe the need for a more subtle approach. Their appearance could suggest Nicholas is facing something where his usual, maybe more direct, superhuman approach isn't working, and he needs a more, nuanced tactic.
Which brings us back to those superhuman criminals, especially the one who's stronger than him. That feels like a really significant detail.
Definitely. An adversary who actually outmatches his own power. That likely symbolizes a waking life challenge that feels genuinely overwhelming. Something that makes his usual strengths feel inadequate. It could point to feeling truly outmatched or up against something bigger than himself.
And that feeling of being trapped, unable to escape. You mentioned before Nicholas had a dream disrupted by a loud sound once. Could this inability to escape, even with powers, connect to similar feelings? Maybe anxieties about control?
It's a good connection to make. While the cause is different internal to the dream this time, that core feeling of being trapped despite having abilities could certainly resonate with anxieties about, well, external forces impacting his inner world, or just a general sense of not being fully in control of certain challenges.
Thinking about his waking life again. His creative work, like Dream Anime. His interest in VR games, like Kaiju Battle Simulator. These are full of superheroes, different power sets. It almost feels like this dream is directly drawing from those conscious interests.
That's a really sharp observation. Our dreams absolutely pull from the themes and ideas swirling in our waking minds. His fascination with different kinds of power, the dynamics between them. It seems very likely that fed into the characters and the whole narrative of this dream.
So pulling it all together then, this April 3rd dream seems like this really rich exploration of hidden potential, navigating these complex power dynamics, maybe social, maybe professional, and confronting challenges that feel, well, overwhelming, even when you have inner strengths.
Exactly. It highlights that tension, doesn't it?
Right.
Between inherent abilities and the need to maybe adapt or hide them, and also that feeling of encountering obstacles that seem even stronger than you are. It offers a glimpse into how Nicholas might be processing feelings of limitation, or perhaps the need for different strategies in different parts of his life.
It's a really powerful reminder that even in these fantastical dreamscapes, we're often working through very real, everyday concerns and feelings.
Yeah. And exploring this dream, Nicholas, it brings up a thought for you to maybe reflect on. Think about the different territories you navigate. Daily work, social life, creative projects. Are there times you feel like you've wandered into a space where the rules feel different, or where you face challenges or even personalities that feel stronger or more powerful than your own approach? What might this dream be telling you about how you perceive and handle those different dynamics?
That's definitely something to chew on. Nicholas, we hope you continue to think about this dream and what insights it might hold. Thanks for letting us explore it here on Dreamcast.